put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television, and thank you so much for staying with us. Indeed, it's a wet morning this morning, so of course when you're going out there, remember to walk with your umbrellas and protect yourself from the rainfall. It's International Men's Day, yes, and we will celebrate our men. We will have conversations with our men this morning, and today we start off our conversation with none other than Mr. Rhondall Fields, no stranger for men's advocates. He is the president of the Single Fathers Association of Trinidad and Tobago, and we're talking about recognizing single fathers and all that pertains primarily to men's issues here in Trinidad and Tobago, the Caribbean region, and internationally as well. Good morning, Mr. Fields, and welcome.
Good morning. Thanks for having me, Adanna. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Of course, and a pleasure always to have conversations with you. I know you have a busy morning this morning, and we want to say thank you for joining us. Happy International Men's Day to you, first and foremost, we must say. And of course, thank you for all that you have been doing in terms of petitioning for men's rights and the causes that men have, speaking up boldly and bravely, even though sometimes it might cost you. And so we're celebrating International Men's Day today. And I know that you are part of an organization who has been planning and, talking about how we can change the conversation as it relates to men. And I want to know where you are in your headspace for this year's celebration. What are your thoughts? What are the things that went into preparing for trying to change the conversation? Because I know that your cry is not just for Trinidad and Tobago. I know you want to see a change internationally. So what has it been like for you in terms of what are the things you are thinking about that we need to address sort of immediately?
I mean, definitely our local statistic says it loudly. Says that that men suffer and men are vulnerable in many areas. There are many social ills that impact men. And I mean, the fact that the statistics are so high, I mean, in the 80th percentile, 90th percentile, it's indicative that we've left things unaddressed. We've waited for the horse to pull the stable. And if we don't do something about it now, then we're going to be in a greater state of issues. We're seeing it happening when it comes to crime, when it comes to criminality. We're seeing the criminal mind is now becoming pervasive towards the younger generation. I mean, listen to the style of music that they love. They love the style of music that glorifies killing, glorifies murder, and glorifies these kind of heinous crimes, things that are actually criminal acts. And we need to ask ourselves, why is this taking place, particularly with the young boys? So, I mean, this is something that we're seeing, and you made mention of internationally. And this is something that we've seen regionally. And that's why we, this year, I mean, this was a brainchild, not only of myself, but the International Men's Day Committee at first, where we saw it valuable to bring the region together on these issues, where we seen that we having similar issues pertaining to maleness, similar issues pertaining to masculinity and to men in our society. We understood that it is not something exclusive to Trinidad and Tobago, but regionally, we are seeing where men's vulnerabilities, it seems to be left on the back burners. And I must thank those delegates and ministers who have journeyed from across the waters to participate in such an event, to say, hey, we recognize that this is an issue in our nation as well, and collectively we want to address it. We don't want to do it in silos. We are one Caribbean, we are one CARICOM, and together, if we put our minds together, we may actually find strategies, best practices that we could actually, the world could learn from us if we decide to go in this direction.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I know on Sunday, there was a coming together, as you mentioned, the region, with the International Men's Day Regional Conference Committee planning events. The first one being held last year in Grenada, and, coming together again for the same purpose, to continue the conversation. Tell me a little bit about the compilation of the persons who were there on the march, some of the things you were able to discuss, and the way forward.
Right. We had the Minister of Health, who was the leading government business for Grenada there, the Honorable Philip Telesford. We had the Honorable Gloria Thomas, who is the Minister of Gender from Grenada as well. We had Mr. Mario Philip from Nevis, who is the head of the gender department across there. We had Miss Kimaloy Murphy, who is from Anguilla. We had Mr. Derek Gomes, a prolific author and representative of Anguilla as well. He actually resides in the UK, but came from the UK just to be a part of this. We also have Montserrat, Mr. Nish Brown, Miss Fergus that came here as well. So I mean, and there were so many other delegates that were supposed to come, that were ready to come, but that will be a story for another day. But we have seen the regional desire to come together, to stand together, not only men, but women supporting men as well, so that they come forward and stand together with men, because they realize women bear men, women make sons, and even they realize that men need their support as well. So we commend all the women that came out on that march, and that is why we've been inclusive in this conference. Even today, at the International Men's Day conference, we told women they are allowed to come with one prerequisite, that they walk with a man. And many women have registered themselves and registered their men, whether it be their sons, whether it be their uncles, whether it be their husbands, their boyfriends, their fiancés, because they are interested too. We can't talk about paternity leave today and women aren't there, because women are the ones who suffer a lot when their husbands aren't there. Most of the times when I start having a discussion, whether it's on radio, whether it's on TV, and the public gets the opportunity to chime in, a woman always calls once the topic is paternity leave and gives a story of how she felt when her husband could not be there, but both she and her child immediately after the birth.
And are very, very important issues, and the fact that the region, the issues are similar across the region, and that these ministers of government saw it fit to come across to be a part of this conference and to make their contributions as well, be a part of the conversation, because as you mentioned, the issues are not isolated to Trinidad and Tobago. You see the similarities across the regions, and the more voices we have, especially I know for certain that paternity leave is very, very significant for you because of the position you hold and the people you have conversations with. And one of the things for me that I am hoping we can really make a dent in is that particular situation. It must start in some part of the region, even if it doesn't start in Trinidad and Tobago. It must somebody must say, okay, let's address this and let it filter through the Caribbean region so that the men can really have that time. More than just 1 week, 7 days is insufficient. Some women, when they bear children, some of them have to do cesarean sections, and so they need additional support. So I'm rooting, of course, as a part of the IMD Regional Conference Committee. Of course, I am here for it all. Rhondall, tell us a little bit about what today is going to look like in terms of the conference.
Well, today we're going to have the official ceremony to begin. We'll have some entertainment. We'll have the minister's address. I was informed last night that the Minister of Gender should be there. I always knew that the Minister of Energy, Minister Stuart Young, was going to bring the keynote. He had confirmed a long time ago. So we expect the greetings from them this morning. We're going to have some, as I said, some entertainment, and then we're going to go into a parallel conference. One side of the conference, as we did in Grenada, we're doing it in Trinidad today. One side of the conference for the men, where we'll go into panel discussions. We have a stacked panel again, just like we had a stacked panel yesterday from the boys to men, where we're going to discuss one, the healthy man, meaning we're treating with things pertaining to both the physical and the mental issues that men face. You understand? We're going to be dealing also with fatherhood in society, issues and solutions. And we're going to be dealing with the perceptions, the false perceptions of masculinity. Those are the three panel discussions. We have very, very competent panelists and moderators that will be stacked on them again. And we're going to go into a parallel session, as I said, this session for the older men, but also, I'm going to call the men older, for the adult males, and then the younger males. We're having an online session where we're going to do something that we've something that we've not hashed, but actually taken from the good courtesy of the Telecommunication Authority, they are actually sponsoring it again, which is ICT for Boys, where the boys will now go out across our nation of Trinidad and Tobago. We also send the link to all the other regions as well for boys to log on, where they will be participant in a training in artificial intelligence. And talking about artificial intelligence, we will also have an artificial intelligent avatar. Yesterday, Boys the Men function is highly interactive. You could walk up to him, talk to him. You would be surprised to see the level of technology and advancement that we have right in Trinidad and Tobago. So his name is Chris, and he and Mr. Samuel Sanka will be actually hosting our IMD session today. After the panel discussions are over at 3 p.m., we have 30 that we are at over substantially across the region, the greater percent of them coming from Trinidad, and we have some also awardees coming from Nevis, coming from St. Kitts, and those other persons from Grenada who are here.
All right, we had a little bit of static there, but I got the general gist of the conference today. You know, Rhondall, I want to wish you the very, very best. Unfortunately, I could not be there this year, viewers. I am also a part of the International Men's Day Regional Conference. And, you know, this committee, they put a lot into the planning. They consider all the issues and they try to package everything in one. I mean, we can't deal with every single thing in one conference sitting. And so you want to look out for next year as well. It's an annual conference, and so we're going to be dealing with issues as they arise. All the very best today, Rhondall, with you and the team there. Go and do your thing, represent Trinidad and Tobago, represent men, and I do hope the conversation transcends from just conversation into action. All right, thank you so much, of course, for joining us this morning. And again, happy International Men's Day to you. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking with Mr. Rhondall Fields, President of the Fathers Association of Trinidad and Tobago, formerly known as the Single Fathers Association of Trinidad and Tobago, as he spoke on the International Men's Day Regional Conference, which is taking place in Trinidad this morning. Actually, this weekend, they started off on Sunday, and it's culminating today. All right, we have to go for a short break, but you do know that we continue speaking about men, men's issues, young boys, young men. Once you are the male gender, we're speaking about you today and we're giving you our love and the support. Next in studio, we speak with Mr. Adrian Mark. So you want to be a part of this conversation. But before we begin, we have to go for a short break. And as we go, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.